I'm back. So, I recently got a notification on my phone while I was scrolling through my YouTube subscriptions that said somebody subscribed to my channel. And that was a little surprising because I thought my channel had been deleted because of inactivity or something. Given all the videos that YouTube gets. And so I looked and I'm like, oh, people are subscribed. There's a handful of people that have subscribed, and there are some comments on my videos. I might want to go back and do them, but after looking over my content and realizing the last time I posted was early September of 2021, I figured I owed you an explanation. So this is that explanation, and this is probably going to become my new channel intro video, so let's go into it. So just going to talk about where I've been and why. I'm going to discuss the additions that I'm going to do, the changes I'm going to make to this channel. So I'll be covering investing as I started off doing, but I'm also going to talk about the thing that I'm truly expert at. Investing is slightly more than a hobby for me. Computer science is my expertise, specifically AI, and we'll get into that when I get to those section of the video. And then we'll also talk about law and politics on this channel. And not the way you think. I'll talk about it when I get there. So, getting into it. Where have I been? So the first thing that happened is around the time that my videos stopped posting, I actually had made a third video. I didn't make the video, I made the slides for the third video. And I was going to make it and my computer crashed. Specifically, I had a M2 key that died. Why? Don't know. It was supposed to be a top of the line M2 key from a very reputable company. It died. Luckily, I didn't lose all my content because I did something that a lot of computer builders tell you don't do, which is I have an M2 key for my startup machine for my operating system, Windows, and I have a magnetic drive for my data. And so my videos and my old slides were on that data drive, so I never lost anything, at least for my local machine. The second thing that happened shortly after that is the market crashed. And I watched my investment account go from having more money in gains than I actually invested. So I was at about 115% in unrealized gains, and I watched all of that get wiped out. I almost went negative. I did go down to like fractions of a percentage point higher than what I invested. And the market crash crashed my confidence. It made me think, do I have any business telling anybody anything about the stock market? And so I just didn't post the third video. And then the next thing that happened after that is I had multiple employment changes. The third thing that was going on with me at the time that all the videos stopped coming was I was interviewing for positions in Washington, D.C. I currently live in San Antonio, Texas. So that travel was basically an all-day. Each interview day was a 3-day affair for me. I had to travel there, which took all day. Flying out of San Antonio is not convenient. And then the interview was a day-long process, and then I would fly back. Next, I've had a number of medical issues, and most of those are political in nature. I believe I've been given a major diagnosis that is a false diagnosis on purpose. I'm not going to name any names. I'm not going to name any people in this. but there is incentive for medical doctors to give certain diagnoses on very minimal work. And the problem with that is they encountered somebody that knows that they didn't do all the work that they were supposed to do. And we will talk about that. I might cover that in this video, but maybe not. So my current status after all of this is I am explicitly unemployed, but I'm trying to start my own business. Specifically doing things in computer science, because that is my expertise, computer science and computer engineering. We'll talk about that in a second. Main reason why I chose to return, as I mentioned on the title screen, somebody subscribed to my channel. And it was a reminder that, people think that what you're saying is important to them and they want to know. So, okay. I owe it to y'all. So I'm going to go ahead and definitely redo the investment, do some more of the investment videos, but we're also going to talk about some other topics on this channel. Topics that are things that I'm passionate about and things that I'm expert level at. So my first passion project type thing is investment, and I'm going to be doing absolute beginner content. If you saw my original channel content video, if you haven't seen it, you should go back and look at it. But none of that ideology is changing. My content is for the absolute beginner. It's for the long-term investor. It is for people to get comfortable with terminology and getting around and giving you a starting place to get you comfortable with the internet, with investment, not with the internet, with investment. And I will say, I will be color coding my content so that the moment you see the splash screen, because if you've seen my title pages, they're just splash screens. I'm not going to. They're splash screens of the title page. I'm not going to try and bombard you with Instagram models or wild, crazy, quotations or anything like that. There isn't a whole lot of editing or the like that should be done here. That said, in my attempt to color code, I tried to do that here, and I learned really quickly, green on black does not look as good as I thought it would. So that's the first piece of channel content. And this is my passion part. Computer science, this is my expertise. And my expertise is a passion. I mean, you don't get to where I'm at if you aren't passionate about the topic, specifically artificial intelligence. I have a PhD in computer engineering backed up by a master's in computer science, and both of those focused on artificial intelligence and machine learning algorithm design. I will go into more what that means when I make computer science videos. So I will be talking about AI. It's a lot in the news at this particular point, and the truth of the matter is that there are a lot of people who are manipulating you into thinking that AI needs to be paused or anything like that. No. It's just you're panicking, and I'm going to sort through all the BS to show you that there's nothing to panic about. Software and game design, I'll be talking about that because the vast majority of people who get into computer science are doing so because they love video games. I am no exception. I am not gamer level of video game player, but I do play, and it's more of a passion project for me to design games at this point. So I have 3 or 4 games that I'm planning on creating, and I have a friend who wants me to create a program for him that's similar to a video game, so I'll be looking into that. My actual current project that I'm working on is an embedded design project. embedded design projects cost money. You're not going to hear a lot about embedded design projects. I am working on one explicitly. You're not going to hear a lot about it because when I do start talking about it, it's because I'm ready to actually commercialize. And then lastly, I will talk about my adventures and more so the horror stories of trying to become a professor. That is actually one of the things I was doing when I was off. I was looking for the job in Washington, D.C. fell through. I'd resigned the job that I was working at that time. I took a position as a university professor locally, and that position burned a lot of time. And so it was very difficult to get back to making channel content while doing that video, amongst other reasons. And after this current stint of trying to be a professor, I'll never do it again, which is unfortunate because that's why I got the PhD to begin with, is I want to be a professor. All right, so this is my expertise, is computer science, and you will see video content on that. If you're interested in it, yay, view it. If not, please pass it by. Lastly, another passion of mine, law and politics. I am not going to try to push my personal views. The problem is that when you're discussing the law, you always end up pushing your personal views. So I will try to give you both sides of the story always and let you make a decision, because I am interested in a reasonable discourse. Democracy requires a reasonable discourse, and that's the biggest thing that we're missing right now, is reasonable discourse. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to discuss a number of different interesting laws and issues that are coming up or have come up in our country. Specifically, I have videos planned on 2 laws in the state of California. One is affirmative consent, and the other is the pig pen law, where California requires pig farmers to have a certain amount of space separating pigs that are used for slaughter and sold in California. And while that sounds like a great idea up front, it's California being a bully. I'm born and raised in California, by the way, so I'm not going to sit up here and pick on California, but those 2 laws are California laws. They're just abhorrently bad than somebody was not thinking when they wrote those laws or when they passed those laws. The other thing I'm doing right now is I'm looking into legal apprenticeships. So Texas is one of the few states, not one of the few, because there's more than a few. In fact, the majority of the states, 28 states allow you to become an attorney by apprenticeship. Texas, California, Illinois being 3 of them. And so what that means is that you don't actually have to go to law school to become an attorney in those states. You have to find an attorney depending on the way the law is written. You have to find an attorney that's willing to take you in to teach you the ins and outs of being an attorney and prepare you for the bar exam. There's multiple ways this is implemented, but the most famous case of law by apprenticeship, the most famous person that became an attorney by apprenticeship, which many people may not know, because I don't know if they teach it anymore. They taught it to me, but I don't know if they teach it anymore. Abraham Lincoln got his law license by apprenticeship, and we know how he ended up. Okay? And the last reason why I'm looking at law and politics is because there are some fights that I think only I can do because of my background as a computer scientist. Both as my background as a computer scientist, close your ears if you don't want to hear religious stuff. My faith as a Christian, you can open your ears now. And just my personal general experiences. So I will be talking about these topics on some videos. There are not going to be a whole lot of them, unless, of course, I do end up landing an apprenticeship, which could change some of the tone of the topics that I cover here. We'll see. So my original update schedule was the plan to make one or two videos a week, review the comments for questions on those videos, and then create a third Q&A video for the weekend. I want to try to adhere to that on my quote new in quote schedule, but since I'm also covering or looking to cover more topics, there may be more than 2 videos a week. But the other side of it is if I do end up trying to start, if I do start, prototyping and marketing for an embedded device that I've created and or land a legal apprenticeship, that may reduce the video schedule to be less than 1 video a week. I hope I never get that low. And I hope I never get to the point where I am completely abandoning creation of videos again. Another thing I'm going to try to do again is figure out an easy color coding scheme. Green on black clearly is not all that, so it won't be happening. And then one of the other things I'm going to try doing is YouTube apparently wants you to post shorts. So I guess I'll post shorts on upcoming topics. Basically a mini commercial for stuff that I've done, I guess. I think you have to make shorts on a cell device though, based on the way I've seen them mostly. So we'll see. I don't know if I'm going to do that or not anyway. We'll see. You'll know if I do. So to round this off, my generalized ending, which I'm going to say pretty much at the end of every video, if you have questions on the topics that I've discussed in this video, reasonable questions. If you're sharpshooting, I'm probably not going to answer that. If you're asking questions to be insulting, I'm probably not going to answer that. Let's keep the discourse civil, reasonable. I don't mind pointed questions. I do mind when the question is designed to be an insult more than an actual question. So what I want you guys to do, and ladies to do, is look through the comment sections for this video. If you see that somebody has asked a question very similar to yours, put a like on that question. And if you think there's some nuance that you want added, reply to that question, but still like that question, then reply to that question with the added nuance, and I'll try to merge all the nuances and questions together. If you don't see your question at all, add a comment with your question so other people can see your question and like it if they have the same question. And then the goal is for me to do a Q&A day, review the videos that I've posted, look at the questions, create a video that answers those questions. Once I cover a video, I'm not going to cover it again. As far as once Q&A day covers a video, I won't be going back there again, which means the faster you post your question, the more likely it is to get answered. If you're reviewing the video after a Friday, then maybe check the next Q&A video closest to that video to see if your question was answered. So that is the intention of the way I would like you to use the comment section of the videos that you see posted. So lastly, the also general like, share, subscribe. If you like this content, please click the like button. If you have friends or family that's interested in the topic of a particular video, you should share that video with them. And the reason why I say share that video, get the link and send it to them by email or by instant message or whatever you want. But the reason why I say share it is because there aren't going to be a whole lot of subscribers on this channel. I'm not looking to get a 1 million member following. If I get one, awesome. If I get, 100,000 views on a video, awesome. But I know that my topics and my presentations are not for everyone. They are like I said, I'm not going to be using Instagram models on my splash screens, or I'm not clickbaiting you. I am trying to cover information. I'm trying to have intelligent discourse. So the only way these videos get out is if you share them. Lastly, if you want to know what my next content is, you should click the subscribe button. And then underneath the subscribe button, if you want the absolute maximum information, there's a notification bell. Click on it. It should give you a drop-down list. Choose all, and that will give you pop-up notifications on your mobile device. And if set up correctly, it's supposed to give you notifications in the Windows notification area. I have never had that happen to me on my version of Windows, but maybe I haven't set it up correctly. All right, that is the end of the content for this video. Thank you for watching, and I just want to point out one more time. The reason why I restarted making these videos at the end of the day is somebody clicked on the subscribe button and reminded me that I had a responsibility. So that reminder, that mini boost does help me. Thank you very much. I look forward to your positive questions and contributions in the comments section and to your next viewing experience.